here, nerds.
Hey, what is up, fellow geeks and nerds? Nerd Informants, we are in Hot Springs, Arkansas in 2017, and we are on location at SpaCon. We made it. I didn't crash the car. Here we are, Tim and Josh, side by side.
Dude, this is awesome.
This is awesome.
There's Deadpools, and Wonder Womans, and Wolverines, and Pooh Bears, and Winnie the Pooh, and Christopher Robin, and Piglet too.
And Stranger Things. Shannon Purser is here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and we have got exclusive interview coverage from her panel right here at SpaCon. So this is Nerd Informants. We are covering SpaCon. Coming up, we came, we saw, we informed.
Hey everyone, we're in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and we are at SpaCon. I am here with Bill, who is the director of everything. Everything. You know, Bill, let's talk a little bit about how you make this con happen. This is your second con. Last year was very much a success. This year, I'm going to say it happened again.
Slam dunk. SpaCon is a partnership with the Garland County Library and Visit Hot Springs, who I work for. So it's two groups of geeks coming together. One of them very knowledgeable and intelligent, the librarians, and the other side of it is the AV crew and the tech crew and the conventioneers and marketers, which is who I work for. Put them both together, and it's easy. So over a year ago, the library and Visit Hot Springs had come together with the idea to put a convention out. I was not part of these conversations. 2 months before SpaCon last year, the inaugural SpaCon, I was hired on to Visit Hot Springs. They said, first thing you're doing, take this convention to the finish line. So, admittedly, I come from a music background. I put on music festivals. I was in a traveling band, yada yada. Never even been to a con before. So I had to quickly go out to a few cons and try to figure out, what's happening at cons and kind of get up to speed in 2 months.
Yeah.
And then we put on SpaCon last year. It went very well, and we decided to do it again this year, but grow it exponentially, probably 3 times the size of what it was last year.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about the guests that you have here. You guys have some very special guests joining you for your second year's event. Let's tell some of our listeners what they missed out on this year's con.
Just moments ago, I met probably the only celebrity in the world that will make my heart go pitter-patter. I'm not that guy. If David Bowie was resurrected, I might flip out a little bit. But I just met Sherilyn Fenn, a.k.a. Audrey Horne from Twin Peaks. When Twin Peaks had the original series, huge fan. What Twin Peaks did to television, I think, turned everything upside down. So big kudos to David Lynch and having Sherilyn Fenn. Sherilyn Fenn right now is in a room, sold out panel room, with Sheryl Lee, a.k.a. Laura Palmer. So those two are here. Shannon Purser from Stranger Things are here. To me, the Stranger Things is kind of like the new Twin Peaks, with a lot of E.T. thrown in, or a lot of Goonies maybe. So those are our main guests. Of course, the Batmobile is here. The Herbie Recharge card is here. The Ecto-1 car is here. We've brought in cosplayers from 3 countries. Artists, I think 10 artists are here from around the country, and then over 100 vendors.
And it's just fantastic. The atmosphere is wonderful. Everybody's just friendly. Everyone who has booths and vendors, they're just so welcoming. Everybody here is just having an amazing time. Let's fast forward to next year a little bit. What message do you have to people to say, you're going to want to come back? You're going to want to be here, and if you missed out this year, you're definitely going to want to be here next year.
You definitely do want to be here next year. The dates are already set. I think it's September 21st through 23rd, 2018. I don't know how things will change. We are currently taking up the entire convention center. It's a huge space. I don't know what we can do to add to it. I guess, maybe more celebrities, more people, of course, would be fine. I think it's fun for all. There's a little bit of geek in every one of us. And if you're a people watcher, this is the place to be, without a doubt. One of the most important things to regular con goers is this con is put on by people that have never put on a con before. So in a sort of a default way, we are working to reinvent what a convention is. especially in Arkansas, when I started looking at cons, I was walking around a vendor hall, and then I was done. There was nothing else to do. So and we were like, what we need to do is make activities and things available to people so they could spend a whole weekend and still have a hard time doing everything. So we've added laser tag, and we've added virtual reality, we've added the Starship Bridge Simulator, we've added the Smash Brothers Wii video game tournament, which is huge. We have the number 6 player in the world here today, Larry Lerr. So next year, more things for people to do besides shop, and shop a lot in the vendor hall.
All right, excellent. Well, guys, we're here at SpaCon. If you missed out this year, clearly you're going to want to be here next year. Bill, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate everything you guys do. Stay nerdy, guys.
Nerd Informants.
let's give Shannon our warm Southern homecoming welcoming and bringing in Shannon Purser, everyone. Thank you so much. Hi, welcome to Hot Springs.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How's it been going?
It's been great. I got in last night. I stayed in my room and watched Rick and Morty, and it's been a good time so far.
What was your first impression of Hot Springs so far?
I mean, I love it. It's so beautiful. I'm in New York right now, which I love, but I always miss like nature and stuff when I'm out there. So it's really great to be out here, and everybody's been super nice.
Oh, well, we're very excited to have you.
Oh, thank you.
And I saw that you're a Southern girl at heart. You're
Yeah, I'm from Georgia.
So can you talk a little bit about? Did you guys know that? Anyway, can you talk a little about what it feels like to be like back in the South, or do you get to go home much, or what kind of? Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I've had like a long hiatus over the summer, but I'm now in New York doing a new show for NBC. So I kind of like just moved, which is weird but great. But yeah, whenever I'm not working, I go back to Georgia and chill with my parents, and it's great.
Because Stranger Things was it shot? It was shot in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it was shot in Jackson.
So what was that like shooting this epic TV show in your hometown?
So good. Like, it was really the most perfect thing that could have happened. Like, even before I knew that anybody would care about Barb, I was like, this is, which is so weird, by the way. But like, no, I was so thankful. I was in my senior year of high school when I did Stranger Things. So it was so good for me to be able to like be at home, and then, you know, once like every week or so I got to like drive in and do the job of my dreams. It was kind of like this little secret job that I had, and it was the coolest thing in the world.
Right, because you also can't talk about it when you're doing it, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Not
told
really.
like my best friends, of
Right.
course, because like you sign a confidentiality agreement, but like there has to be like at least one person who's in on that, or you'll go insane.
Right, but they also have to sign a confidentiality agreement with their friends.
Oh no, I think they're good. They were good. They were good. And also, I mean, nobody knew what Stranger Things was going to be, so it wasn't like I, you know, signed up to do This Is Us or something. Like, nobody really cared about Stranger Things. Nobody had any idea what it was, so
Right.
it was fine. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, can you just talk us through what it was like getting the role? Like, where were you? You were in high school, and like, how did it come to you? What was the audition process like?
Yeah, well, I'd known that I wanted to act for several years. I mean, I just grew up doing like little plays in school and community theater, and really loved being on stage. Even though I was like a very weird and introverted kid, there's like this layer of protection almost when you're on stage. It's like this feeling of liberation that you can be whoever you want to be. And you know, as I got older, I got super into TV and movies, like watching 80s movies with my dad and falling in love with them. And so when I was like 15 is when I sort of realized that acting is what I wanted to pursue professionally. So I signed with an agency, and I'd been auditioning for several years, and nothing had ever come through until I got an email about this new TV show for Netflix. And at the time, it was actually called Montauk, because it was supposed to take place in New York and not Indiana. And yeah, I just remember like getting this scene about this girl Barb talking to Nancy about Steve, and I was like, all right. And I remember I invited like my best friend over because she has a better camera than me, and we taped the audition together in my basement, and it was great. It was awesome.
Do you still have your audition tape?
I think I do somewhere, actually. I think my friend has like threatened to release it several times, and I'm like, please don't.
I feel like this friend is about to play a big part in your career.
Oh, for sure. No, I give her the credit, for sure. She's been like my audition buddy for several years.
So cool. Katie, I want to involve you in this conversation too, because I know that you have a lot of history with Stranger Things, and you've also had a chance to talk to Barb.
Sure. No, I mean, I loved this series like everyone in this room clearly did. And I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, so it's interesting to me to just from the nostalgia perspective and all the different things with Spielberg and all the great like allusions to everything in the 80s. And I think I think when I talked to you, I was really curious because you're not a child of the 80s, and what it was like for you to kind of experience being in the 80s with Stranger Things.
I mean, I loved it. I think even though I'm not a child of the 80s, I definitely feel very familiar with it. I mean, just like memories of listening to like Chicago and Toto in the car with my dad and ELO. It didn't really feel like I had to, do research or to try to get into like an 80s mindset. Because like, in reality, I think teenagers now, and teenagers then are equally as stupid and reckless, and so it wasn't too much of a stretch. Yeah.
And let's talk about the Barb phenomenon. I don't think the Doofers have said they didn't realize that your character would just be so explosive and become this sensation.
Yeah.
And you've also been on record saying that you're a Barb. Let's talk about the phenomenon of Barb, maybe how it feels to have this sudden, like, being catapulted into this, what this is, and maybe a little more about why you think people really connect with the character of Barb.
Yeah, I did not think anybody would even like remember me, much less like care about Barb at all. In reality, I mean, she has a pretty short amount of screen time, and I just remember thinking, I'd been auditioning for like years and had never booked a job, and I'm like, this could very well be the last job that I have, period, or the last job that I have for a long time. So I'm going to put my heart and soul into like these 10 lines that I had, and I'm like, I'm going all in with this character. But for sure, the Duffers certainly did not think that anyone would care. I didn't think anyone would care. And yeah, then I remember like the show came out, and a couple weeks later, all these notifications like on my phone like just started blowing up, and I was like, what is happening? And like the Justice for Barb hashtag started like trending, and I'm like, oh my god, what? It was I mean, it's the strangest thing in the world. And I still can't really believe it. I can't really process it. But I mean, obviously I have so much, that I have to thank you guys for. I mean, you guys are the ones who watched my performance and connected to it somehow. So very, very thankful to be where I am.
I'm kind of curious what you think contributed to the phenomenon. Like, why do you think, because it was really amazing to watch. Is there something you think that was happening among the audience members that might have made that happen?
I don't know. I mean, I think, for one thing, and this is like something that I'm very passionate about, I think you don't see a lot of girls with my body type on TV, and it's really important to me that become less of like okay, we have like the one curvy character, and women that are my size just be treated like normal human beings. And so I think, from my perspective, it would be kind of a relief and kind of like a beautiful thing to feel like you can relate to someone, versus like having the star of every TV show being like a size 2 and very traditionally beautiful. And I think there are many different kinds of beauty. So I'm very glad to have been kind of a resource for people who feel like underrepresented or left out. And then I think another thing about Barb too is that she is very much like an outcast and awkward, and I don't know, I think you see a lot of TV shows where high schoolers are all like super hot and have no acne and are like very confident and like sleep with all the hot like people, and I'm like, no. I was the most like uncomfortable person in high school, and I still am in a lot of ways. Like, I very much like kept to myself. If you wanted to talk about Harry Potter, I was all in, but like I didn't go to parties. So it's weird. Barb was very much like kind of like my little what's the right word that I'm looking for? She's like a representation of me. I kind of like wanted to treat her very much like how I felt in high school.